when are we going to see any rainfall? We've been scouring the future to try and spot any useful rain. Lots of gardeners and farmers desperate for a drop of rain. The grass is incredibly crunchy. Now, if you're in Oakhampton, well, you actually got a soaking yesterday, as we can see on the radar. This is the radar from yesterday afternoon. Most places were completely dry, but just that little pocket down there across North Devon into Cornwall did see a really heavy shower. You can see it again there. Let's run through just some big thunderstorms that broke out, helped by sea breeze convergence. That's where the sea breezes come together and push the air up. When you get convergence, it means winds coming together in different directions. They can't go down into the ground, so they have to go up. That creates some uplift, helped by the orography and the moors in the area as well. So some slow moving heavy downpours here. The vast majority of the UK, of course, were dry and sunny, but we did see those heavy, even thundery downpours yesterday, caused a bit of local flooding in the Oakhampton area as well. So one or two locations saw some heavy rain on Thursday, and it'll be a similar case as we go through the next few days. Isolated heavy downpours, yes, but widespread rain, well, we're not going to see much of that. And these isolated downpours aren't much use because they just drop a lot of rain in a short space of time, and most of it just runs off because the ground is so very dry. And we are likely to see one or two more of those through this afternoon also. This is the projection through this afternoon. Again, the chance of a shower in the southwest, but actually perhaps a greater chance of a shower if we head a little bit further west through this afternoon. Still, they're going to be very isolated, but just the chance there. Again, don't take these literally, but parts of southeast Wales, more central parts of southern England, just isolated showers popping off. Like yesterday, you're going to have a lot of things come together, and again, a bit of convergence is going to help with that. And if we put the winds on, what we're seeing, generally the wind's coming down from the north, which is why it'll be a little bit less hot this weekend. But also we're going to see sea breezes developing. So if the sea breeze comes in from the south coast, the breeze coming down from the north, they could meet together. Also going to see something quite interesting in the fact that we could well develop a heat low. Just put the pressure lines on there. There's a little low pressure system within parts of southern England. That heat low is where the land heats up and the air is rising, and it generates a little area of low pressure. Often see it over Iberia, particularly in the summer months, but there's actually a little low pressure system in there which will allow the air to rise a bit more as well. So if these things all come together, one or two isolated but potentially quite heavy downpours could occur. But again, not a lot of use in terms of widespread heavy rainfall. What about the weekend? Well, I think we'll see more of the same as we fast forward to Saturday. Again, a lot of dry and sunny weather around, the breeze coming down from the north. Let's take the pressure off, we don't really need that. The breeze coming down from the north. A bit more cloud tomorrow over these central parts of England and Wales. And again, just maybe one or two showers breaking out if everything comes together with a northerly breeze. We could again get a bit of convergence just where the winds come together that could help a bit of uplift. So yes, isolated showers are possible through the weekend, a bit of drizzly rain, and maybe some showers coming down the North Sea as we head into Sunday. But again, stop it there. Sunday afternoon, the chance of the convergence generating one or two showers across the southwest of England, but we are looking pretty isolated in terms of downpours for the weekend. Most places are going to stay dry. If we put the rainfall totals on for the weekend, 24-hour totals for by this time tomorrow, so 6 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, again, just maybe some drizzly conditions across northern Scotland, generating less than a millimetre of rain. Isolated pockets, again, don't take these too literally because it depends when everything comes together, but just the spotty nature of that telling us, well, some showers are possible on Saturday across England and Wales, and again on Sunday, maybe some feeding in to North Norfolk there. But yeah, if you're after useful rain for the gardens, well, there's no real sign of it into the weekend. So let's look further ahead. What about beyond that? What about into the early part of next week? Well, high pressure, that's where the air is sinking. That's what's bringing us a lot of fine weather and has done for well, most of July and much of the summer months. Let's fast forward to Sunday. That high is still there, just sitting to the northwest of the UK, big chunky high. There's the jet stream. It is coming down from the north, and that is helping to generate the northerly flow. which is why it won't be as hot this weekend. But that high pressure is going to keep a lid on everything, pretty much keep things dry. Fast forward to Tuesday, the high is still there. The jet's getting a little bit more agitated and perhaps pushing low pressure systems. We may eventually see them coming around the top of this high as the high continues to slip a little further south as we head into the middle part of next week. But generally, with that high there, first half of next week, still going to be a lot of dry weather. We need the weather to really be coming in from the Atlantic, an Atlantic shift bringing the moisture to see a dramatic change to something a little wetter. So the first half of next week, again, still high pressure in control. But as I mentioned, the jet is getting a little livelier, and there are some signs we might just see weather systems coming around the top of that high as we go into the latter part of next week. If we look at the Ensemble forecast now, so when we run the computer model many times, this is the ECMWF Ensemble forecast. This is the main run for next Saturday, so a week on Saturday, and this does suggest that the high could continue to slip south and low pressure could topple round. This is where we run it 50 times, the ECMWF model. If you look at number 2, it's got something similar. You've got low pressure sitting over the UK. 22 has a low to the north with the high much further to the south. But there are still quite a few of them that have the high pressure dominating our weather and controlling things. So still pretty much in the same position. So it's not a guarantee, but there are at least some signs of the blocking high at least giving way, at least a little bit. And if you look at the pressure from those ensemble models, when you run them many times, this is the pressure, the mean sea level pressure where this white dot is. So I've just located it across northern Scotland, and you can see that pressure is going to stay high, about 1,022 millibars, probably rise in the early part of next week as the high gets a bit closer. But then there is quite a drop there, quite a strong signal that the pressure at least will start to drop, and lower pressure. Now, even in this kind of the midpoint of those, we're still at around about 1,000 millibars, so not a particularly deep low, but some of them are getting into the mid 990s. So perhaps it could get that we see some lower pressure, certainly further north, and that would generate some more showers coming in here. If we head further south, then notice you've still also got that trend, rising pressure through the early part of next week, but then it does start to drop off. But notice the scales shifted now, and actually most of these ones, particularly further south, still have the pressure over 1,000 millibars. So yeah, it may not be as high as it is at the moment, but we're not talking about lots of low pressure systems bringing in weatherfront after weatherfront, bringing a lot of rain. But we certainly could see some subtle shifts as we head towards the following weekend, the last weekend in July. So hints perhaps there that we could see something a little bit wetter. But this is kind of the weather flavors, if you like, as we go through time forward here along the bottom, and that solid dark red signal that high pressure will remain in charge certainly until the middle part of next week. But again here, a reasonable signal that some of these blues will take charge, westerly dominated, or more particularly northwesterly dominated, which would bring more showers, again particularly to northern and western areas. If we get a northwesterly, you still don't get a lot of rain generally across southern parts of the UK. But hints there certainly that more northern parts of the UK could see something at least a little wetter towards the back end of next week. And what about beyond that, looking even further ahead as we head into August? Well, this is the mean sea level pressure anomalies, so compared to the average for this time of year. But it's measured over a whole week, again using ECMWF, European Model Ensembles. And when you average it out, there is a bit of blue on the chart there, and blue means pressure below average. So a reasonable signal there for that week that crosses into August, that lower pressure further north and further east of the UK will be closer. Still a pretty strong signal that ridging or high pressure will be sitting somewhere out here, as it has done for much of the summer. But again, just a hint there perhaps that we could see something a little less dry as we head into that first part of August. And going even further ahead, the following week, well, by then we're back to the pinks, which suggests that more likely than not higher pressure is going to be close by to the UK for that first full week of August. Now this is a weekly anomaly, so it's averaging over the full week. So even if you could have high pressure for 5 days and it would be pink, but deep lows could come in for 2 weeks. So the further ahead we get, then obviously, you know, it's far from definitive, but there aren't really any strong signals for a big change to anything wetter, and certainly we're not in the short term expecting much rain at all, which probably isn't very good news for most of us.